Hey, New Covenant Church of Atlanta family, it's your Bishop, and I'm coming to you today with a quick word from the Word. After salvation and the baptism in the Holy Spirit, the most important thing you can learn is how to listen to the voice of the King, your shepherd. It's the most important lesson. John 10, verse 5, I'll start with verse 3. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice. Everybody take your index finger, point yourself and say, I'm the sheep of his pasture. And he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. Verse 4, when he brings out his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Yet they will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. Verse 27 of the same chapter. My sheep hear my voice and know them, and I know them, and they follow me. Listening to the voice of the Good Shepherd is one of the most important skills, if not the most important skill you will ever learn in your relationship with Jesus. Why? You need to know who to marry. You also need to know who to not marry. You need to know what job to take. You also need to know what job not to take. And this goes on and on and on. What investment to make, what investment not to make. Where you should go. You know, sometimes people are like, I'm just going to go to the beach for the weekend without consulting the King, and then they get into disaster. Knowing his voice, knowing when he says, okay, at a red light, turn left and not right, will keep us out of accidents. No, now that's not to say that you won't ever get in an accident, but listening to his voice will keep us from disaster, because Jesus came to give us life and life more abundantly. He will lead us into the abundant life as our shepherd to green pastures. He'll lead us to the right church. He'll make sure that we have the right ministry in our lives, and that we're listening to the right preaching, and that we're releasing the right word. So all of our destiny, everything that we want in this life or could ever want, is stored up in listening to the voice of Jesus. If we don't listen to his voice, we won't inherit everything that he has for us. But if we do listen to his voice, go back to your journals. If you don't have a journal where you've written day after day after day what Jesus is saying to you, then you have no track record by which you can judge your life right now. You know, if you're in a mess and all is wrong in your life, go back to your journal and find out what Jesus has said to you about your life and where to get it back on track. Now, I want to encourage you with this. Don't listen for Jesus to give you direction about everybody else. We live in an age right now where so many people are wanting to get direction for other people from the Good Shepherd and not direction for their own lives. They're like, this one and this one and this one, they need to do that, that, and that. But yet they have no direction for themselves. Now, I know you're probably sitting there going, well, I hear my pastor preaching and he's always giving us direction. That's a different thing. When a fivefold gets up and preaches from the Word under the direction of the Holy Spirit, that's one way that God gives us direction. But as individuals, for me, for example, me and Johnny, we don't sit around and pray, God, give us direction for this one and that one and this one. We want the Holy Spirit to do that. We want the Holy Spirit to guide believers into all truth. Sure, we preach the gospel and we equip the saints, but we can't receive all the shepherding counsel that Jesus has for everybody's life. I can't tell you who to marry. I can't tell you, I can give you counsel on it, but I can't tell you, how to invest your money. I can't tell you what job to take or not to take. We've got to all be responsible for listening to the Good Shepherd for ourselves. I want to say this today in this quick word. Your destiny is wrapped up in your ability to hear the voice of the Good Shepherd. Here's your activation for this week. I want you to take a notebook, whether it's digital, spiral bound, notebook, whatever. Go into your prayer closet. Go into that time alone with God and say, speak to me. And as those free-flowing thoughts begin to come, it'll seem like it's in your own thoughts. But what it is the Holy Spirit's communicating inside of your spirit to your mind, and you're getting spontaneous words. Start writing them down. Start writing down whatever's coming to your mind. And then judge it, because sometimes your mind will interrupt the Holy Spirit and take over the stream of revelation knowledge, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in your own thoughts instead of in the Holy Spirit's thoughts. But judge it, get a fivefold person, a prophetic person to help train you and equip you in sharpening the skill of listening to the voice of the Good Shepherd, and you'll be glad you did. Your life will be different in 3 years if you start today listening more accurately and more keenly for the voice of the Good Shepherd. All right, God bless you. We love you very much, and we'll see you soon.